Good afternoon and welcome to another adventure on your Michigan Compass. It's Out of Bounds again, and today we're at the Ark Encounter in Williamston, Kentucky. We're gonna go check out an Ark. Have you ever seen one? I'm sure you've heard about it. We're gonna see what it looks like on the inside. Come along with us. As we start heading in, they have a few exhibits with various animals. This one's a bird exhibit. There's a few monuments as well. Talk about various things. This one has iguanas. Oh, there he is. This monument talks about fall of man. It looks to be all hieroglyphs.
This one right here is punishment and promise, referring to the Garden of Eden and the promise that God made with Adam and Eve. This one is Cain murders Abel, and references how Cain killed his brother. And this one says, wickedness fills the earth. And that is a reference to all the false idols and man's descent into sin. This last one says, Noah and the ark. This is referring to God telling Noah to build an ark and to gather some animals because rain is coming.
All right, so as we approach the Ark, you can see just how incredibly huge this thing is. It is big.
All right, one final look upwards before we head inside the Ark.
The landscaping is amazing, very tropical themed.
These 12 stones represent the 12 different tribes. You'll notice some crates here on the right side. Some cargo being loaded up onto the Ark, most likely. Maybe some food, maybe some clothes, who knows. And just behind those crates, some ramps where we'll be headed up and into the Ark.
I hear thunder. It's starting to rain. Hope it doesn't do that for 40 days and nights. All right, here it goes. We're entering the Ark right now. Sounds like it's just in time from that storm outside.
Upon entering the Ark, we see some cages where animals might have been kept. And then a plaque telling us about the first day on the Ark. A lot of research went into developing the Ark exhibit. From things as simple as what would the Ark have looked like to how would they have built the Ark. There's even some research into who Noah's wife was and what type of animals were brought aboard and what they might have looked like.
You can hear some of the animals in the cages. Sounds like that storm's getting worse too.
If you take a look at the cages, you'll notice that every cage has its own water bottle and feeding trough.
All right, here we are at the front of the Ark. You can see some of the structure.
The wooden planks of the ship were also sealed with a mortar-like substance to prevent leaks and water from getting in. Many of the walls are lined with these clay pots that perhaps stored water or maybe even wine. There's also rows and rows of caged animals, some to preserve and some for food. There are also several areas throughout the Ark that offer a glimpse into what it might have been like for the crew of the Ark. This wall is lined with bags that may have contained various grains, flowers, seeds, who knows. You might be wondering why they kept moths aboard. That's because some of the animals preferred a diet of insects.
From this section, you can see straight up through the top of the Ark.
Some of the research suggests that even a few dinosaurs may have been brought aboard the Ark and just became extinct over time. These creatures look like they could be a cross between a manatee, a walrus, and a seal. Notice how these guys look a lot like an alligator. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been to catch some of these creatures in order to save them. This cage features a couple of bears. And over here, we have some sloths. And a couple of deer in this cage. The next time you're enjoying some bacon, you not only have God to thank, but you can thank Noah. The sign says that up to 85 kinds of dinosaurs were on the Ark.
There are bats inside of here.
These signs answer all sorts of questions that people have been asking for many years about the Ark. How big was it? How big is a cubit? And what was it shaped like? This diagram explains how almost 7,000 animals were stored safely on the Ark. Just next to this chart is a list of all the animals aboard.
In this glass case, they have a model of the Ark. And on the other side, we'll be able to see the inside layout. Here we are at the back end of the Ark. This is on the lower floor. All right, we're heading up to the second level in the Ark right now. Let's see what's on the second level.
The first thing we see on this level is a brief poster history of the first 7 days of creation. Next, if you recall from the obelisk outside, this section chronicles man's descent into sin. And finally, several dioramas paint a vivid picture of what it was like back then. a good portion of the second level is also filled with animals. For the sake of keeping this video short, I'm not showing you all of the animals that were here on display. Lions, tigers, giraffes, elephants, they're all here. I'm just showing you some of the more unique animals. Most of the animals on this level are a bit larger than the ones on the first level. One of the questions many people have asked is, how did so few people care for so many animals? That's explained here. Feeding troughs, water bottles, and removable litter trays made the work a lot easier. Noah's home theater was located at the front of the Ark on the second level. Just kidding. Actually, this little theater tells you a little bit about the Ark, the research they did, and how they built the Ark. This section explains how both water and waste were managed on the Ark using very simple methods. This scene depicts more of how life would have been like on the Ark. It includes some of their belongings and things they might have brought with them. The scrolls in the desk may depict a day-to-day journal of life on the Ark. The cages contain birds that may have been used to carry out messages hoping to find someone else. A wall filled with scrolls. What some might consider an ancient library. The Ark likely contained a primitive workshop. Repairs and improvements were likely needed over time. Tools needed to be created, sharpened, and maintained.
There's also a kids section inside the Ark. We'll take a step inside and look and see what they have for kids. Looks like a lot of books, various things. I would assume these are things you can purchase maybe in the gift shops.
Notice the serpent wrapped around this sign.
These are all books about the Ark and the story of Noah.
There's a very large door that can be seen from the outside of the Ark.
This is to give you an idea of how big the door on the Ark was. It looks like a door you would see in a large garage, big enough to get a semi-truck trailer through. Just to give you an idea, I'm standing in front of the door, the handles are behind me, and let's take a look up just to see how big this door is. The Ark Encounter also has a gift shop. I believe there's actually two gift shops, one on the second floor and one on the fourth floor. You have quite a bit in here, different things, different foods, different souvenirs, things to remember your visit to the Ark Encounter. You can even get a small Ark. And now we're headed up to deck 3. Deck 3 of the Ark. All right, we're gonna head into the living quarters right now to see how they might have lived on the Ark. Almost seems a bit luxurious. This would be the kitchen. Different plants hanging from the ceiling. It's a hanging garden. Some garden boxes over here as well. And some down here. Notice that all of these are close to the center of the ship, so they would get sunlight. There's a kiln for baking bread, cooking meats, and things like that. And this looks a little bit lavish here with the couch and curtains. I'm sure that's not what it was like, but very fancy. There's an example of a loom that might have been found somewhere aboard the Ark. Almost looks like a primitive cruise ship with the hammocks, the daybed in the background. I think these might be a bit exaggerated for what really took place. Some more cages with various animals here, mostly birds. Looks like one got out of the cage. He's trying to get it, I don't know.
And here's one more example of living quarters on the Ark. Just before exiting the Ark, we have a symbol, and it's the rainbow. The rainbow symbolizes God's promise to never again flood the earth. And finally, we have a timeline from the creation of the earth until present day.
And just before you exit the Ark is the largest gift shop. They have quite a bit to offer inside there if you're interested in any souvenirs, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, photo opportunities, and things like that. It's all there. Just outside the Ark is a restaurant, and I believe this is called Emzara's Kitchen. This is Noah's wife, Emzara. So Mzara's Kitchen is a buffet, and if you're not in the mood for a lot of food or you're not very hungry, there's also a smokehouse grill right here where you can get various smoked sandwiches, pulled pork, and a brisket sandwich. They have chips and beverages. Behind the Ark is the Ararat Ridge Zoo and petting area. Mount Ararat is in Armenia, and I happen to know that. I've actually seen the remnants of what they believe is the Ark located in the ice there. If you look it up on YouTube, I'm sure you can find something about that. Looks like we have some goats over on this side. Over here is the petting portion of the zoo. You can go in and get up close with some of these animals. We'll see what's in here. Kangaroos. There are some kangaroos in here.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to a red kangaroo walkabout.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Awesome.
And he's pretty smart, laying in the shade over there. They're all in the shade, actually. There are quite a few back in that shelter area. I counted 2 that you can't see in the frame, another 4 right there, and 1 on the outside. Can't say I blame them for not being out here today. It's 90 degrees. Over here we have a tortoise. You can't quite see the tortoise. He is in the doorway of that building right there, also in the shade. Some of these animals are pretty darn smart. Over on this side, we have an ostrich. And it looks like he is cleaning himself. Hello there. How are you? And back to cleaning. Much of the zoo is still under construction. I don't think it's quite open all the way. This exhibit here is still under construction, as well as this one on this side. Over on this side, you can ride a camel, believe it or not. They're offering camel rides to the kids. Looks like they're going around a little track. We've got some llamas just hanging out, getting a little snack on the weeds. Heading further down this path, it looks like they have some more animal exhibits down this way. We're gonna check that out. Over here we have a zebra. He looks like he might be a little warm. Could probably use a little shade. Back this way, got a pair of donkeys just chilling out underneath that shade. All right, down here we've got some more goats. This is their quiet space, so we're not gonna try and get their attention. We'll just let them do their thing. There's quite a few down here. It looks like they're just kind of hanging out in the shade. Smart thing to do on a hot day like today. And just like many other places here in the south, they do have a sifting area where you can sift through the water and try and find some fossils. One more thing I want to point out is that if you are looking for a place to eat, they have several of these pavilions. Each one has about 4 tables spaced out very well, and there are several of them, as you can see today. Very few people sitting out here. They also have some umbrellas at the tables over there. Plenty of shady places to sit and eat and enjoy a meal with you and your family. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Your Michigan Compass Out of Bounds, the Ark Encounter. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that compass so you can subscribe and get more great videos. Don't forget, adventure is just a short drive away.